The most prestigious cup in England, some would say. It has made legends here in the English game. Gregg Popovich is here for a second attempt. For Unai Emery, it's his first. Manchester United versus Arsenal in the FA Cup final. Live next. Well, it's fair to say that not a lot of people drew this FA Cup final up at the start of the season, but Manchester United and Arsenal have defied all expectations. And the weird thing about this matchup is that it is one of the it is the Champions League finalists against the Europa League finalists in a final against each other. What a story. The other story in this match is the arrival of Alex Hunter. We all know his granddad Jim never won the FA Cup despite all his achievements. He starts, Alex does today, up front with Anthony Martial, with Gregg Popovich reluctant to use Marcus Rashford as he's been recovering from his latest injury. Will he take part in the Champions League final? It remains to be seen. Gregg Popovich is seeming adamant and hopeful he will, but he does make the bench, which is quite interesting. I think Rashford will be used in case of an emergency, should Gregg Popovich need it. He knows his team has been leaking goals a lot over the last 2 games, and he's hoping to keep it tight today. He did end the season with a clean sheet after beating Cardiff by 2-0. The full team then: David De Gea, of course, starts in goal. It's Lindelof, Bailly and Harry Maguire in the back three. It's the bread and butter formation for Popovich. So Zaha, Pogba, Jesse Lingard, Ander Herrera and Andreas Pereira are the midfield. And as we have already said, Martial is up front with Alex Hunter. For Unai Emery, Bernard Leno starts in goal. Ferenzi was a goal scorer in their last matchup. Socrates is down there with Mustafi and Kolasinac in the defence as well. One of the last appearances for Aaron Ramsey, and he's with Maitland-Niles, Torreira and Mkhitaryan. Ozil is behind Lacazette, I believe. I couldn't quite keep it. But Arsenal have a piece of controversy to deal with, because Henrik Mkhitaryan has been told that he can't play in Baku because of his country, in a bit of a racist dispute down there. But hopefully Mkhitaryan is not focusing on that. His status for now is the FA Cup final, and that is what we're going to focus on right now. But it is quite a sour piece of controversy to hit the football world recently. And hopefully there will be some people to sort that one out. Mkhitaryan, meanwhile, has a diving header that's saved by David De Gea. And Arsenal straight out of the blocks for this one. Miles and Torreira keeping the ball amongst themselves. And Ander Herrera gets it clear. He'll be in one of his final games for Manchester United. Reported to be believed about him going to Paris Saint-Germain. He could leave a treble winner. Ozil. It is Aubameyang and Ozil. Brilliant move. And Arsenal have the lead. And it's Mesut Ozil. Brilliant pass move there by Ozil. He started it. Aubameyang held it up and passed it back. It's a brilliant move. And again, it's another taste of Gregg Popovich's team having his own medicine. And we've all talked about, as this game has approached, maybe that Gregg Popovich could have a final day jinx. David De Gea hugely unlucky not to save that one though, but it is a well-worked goal by Arsenal. It was a trademark back in the invincible days, and it was the hottest show in town, and it's a sign of the unbeaten team there. Arsenal had the lead, and Gregg Popovich is behind in the FA Cup final again. United 0, Arsenal 1. Well, Manchester United, the story with them is that they have scored for fun all season long. They're not out of this yet. Torreira to Ozil, and now Aubameyang. Oh, it's 2-0. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has got another one, and it's almost exactly the same scenario reversed now, because it's Ozil with the pass to Aubameyang, and Arsenal have come out swinging in this first half. Ozil, what a pass! Well, Mesut Ozil has had his critics in his Arsenal time, but there was a glimmer of the old Mesut Ozil there. Oh, David De Gea unlucky again. It's come off him. Well, Unai Emery's team, you can't discredit their scoring. It has been not a problem with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in the team 4 goals in the competition. And Gregg Popovich has a mountain to climb. It's not often we've said that this year. But it's looking increasingly more difficult. United 0, Arsenal 2. It's not often we've had to say that about opponents this season. United have been the scoring kings, but right now they look a little lethargic. Well, Manchester United have really had a hard road to get here, haven't they? I think it's been all Premier League clubs for Manchester United to navigate just to get here. So I think that, barring this result, is an achievement all on its own. They had 2 matches against Chelsea with a replay, if you remember. At Southampton in the semi-finals. Leicester City. So they have definitely had a tough bracket in the FA Cup just to get to this point. Martial dancing through the defence. Martial has been scoring for fun for a lot of the time, and that was almost a goal as well. Brilliant run by Martial. Very unlucky. Well, Alex Hunter has had a troublesome first half, and there's no doubt about that. And it's been a rare occasion that we've said that as well. And Pereira has misjudged it. Maitland-Niles into the box. And Torreira is not going to shoot. He is now. Closed down by Ander Herrera. Well, it's been an electric first half for Arsenal. Quick fire start. They've settled back down. Manchester United are coming into the game, but Bernardo's been good. And the shooting just hasn't been right for Alex Hunter. He's had a troublesome first half. Aubameyang and Ozil make it 2-0 to Arsenal. And Gregg Popovich is staring down another FA Cup final defeat, unfortunately. And Mesut Ozil was definitely the player of the first half for me. Goal and an assist. Off goes Anthony Martial to the races. It's Martial! Oh, he's missed! Well, Martial scoring for fun all season long, and now he can't seem to find the back of the net. Here comes Aubameyang. Wait for support in the form of Mkhitaryan. He's put it in 3-0. Mkhitaryan against his former club. Who'd have thought? At the start of a season, Alexis Sanchez and Mkhitaryan were part of a swap deal, with Mkhitaryan going to Arsenal and Sanchez going to Manchester United. Mkhitaryan is the one who scores in the FA Cup final here. A few months later, free header. Lindelof nowhere near him. Aubameyang had to wait for the support to arrive, and it did. And it's another troublesome afternoon for David De Gea. He's had a few towards the end of the season, and there really is no way back now. Manchester United 0, Arsenal 3. But I think at the end of it all, it's a wonderful turn by Alex Hunter, and he's away. Hunter off the post. It just will not go in for Alex Hunter today. It just will not go in. It's a shame. Beautiful ball by Hunter. Martial brings it in towards Pogba, and Leno, good save. Arsenal playing out of their skin. Manchester United are doing well, but it just will not for them. The luck of the green is not going their way today. As Aubameyang goes off for Alexander Lacazette. Pereira takes the corner. And Pereira decides not to force a throw in. Wonderful stuff there by Pereira, and Martial just heading out. Well, we've said all day that Mesut Ozil had one of the best halves he's ever had in an Arsenal shirt, some would say. It's a corner. Surprising. Pereira to take it. And again, out. Manchester United do need to work on their set pieces. The corners have not been great this season. Oh, it just will not go for Anthony Martial. It's again into the arms of Leno. Sousal finally puts it out, and finally Rashford and Williams can both come on. It is for Martial and Alex Hunter. Interesting. Well, is he going to get 3 goals in a matter of 12 minutes? Oh, Rashford. Beautiful from Marcus Rashford. And Leno stops him as well. Leno has kept them all out. Well, it was wonderful play here by Rashford. And Leno, good save. Another corner. United doing really well. They're just not able to get past Bernard Leno today. Lingard decides not to shoot. Pogba does. Tackle from Pogba. It's going to be no more time for Manchester United now. Zaha. It'll be nothing more but a consolation. Marcus Rashford. Oh, he buried it. He's buried it. No clean sheet for Bernard Leno today. Really unfortunate. Marcus Rashford returns with aplomb, but unfortunately, he probably should have started the game. Oh dear, Marcus Rashford just able to continue his form. Leno's not getting to that, to be fair to him. Marcus Rashford marks his return with aplomb. They have missed his input. And Gregg Popovich may have just made a bit of a mistake by not starting Rashford in the first place. But maybe his head was elsewhere for that man. Marcus Rashford, how many goals would he have had? He's only had 2 this season in the FA Cup, but he was in the running for the Golden Boot, which eventually went to Eden Hazard. It's not enough for United today, but it is a positive for Marcus Rashford. But Arsenal are the FA Cup winners. Who would have thought that at the start of the season? And considering Arsenal's league form as well, they have conquered all. And Gregg Popovich, another year goes by and still no FA Cup for him. It's going to be a going away present for Aaron Ramsey though, even though he'll still probably have one more role to play in the Europa League final against Chelsea. For Manchester United, the attention now turns to the Champions League final against Manchester City. And if Gregg does win that, then he will take it. But if he doesn't, where will Manchester United go from there? And we have to wonder now, it's been 2 years now. Gregg Popovich has been in this position. And he also lost the American Challenge Cup final against Bayern Munich as well. But again, got one up on them in the Champions League quarterfinals. But it's all joy for Arsenal. Another trophy, another FA Cup, incidentally. And Unai Emery, despite his league form, will have a double to possibly celebrate, as Aaron Ramsey, for one last time in an Arsenal shirt, will lift the FA Cup trophy anyway. He might still have a Europa League one to do as well. But Arsenal, FA Cup winners. Who'd have thought that? This season has really thrown up some real surprises. And Manchester City's dropping form. Arsenal getting to the FA Cup final and the Europa League final, and then Manchester United getting to the Champions League final was a surprise as well. And this has been a season full of surprise. And once again, Unai Emery has won up on Gregg Popovich again. So they win the series matchup, because obviously Popovich won the second league game, but Arsenal had the league game win in the first place, and this. And maybe Gregg Popovich, just maybe, might not want to take part in this next season, because he can't seem to get his hands on it. But they'll be back. They'll be back next year. And if this year proves anything to go by, hopefully they'll be much stronger. But it was really good goals from Arsenal, to be fair. To be fair to Gregg Popovich, his team really did play well overall. They were probably just about even. But it's on the scorecard that counts. And today, it reads Manchester United 1, Arsenal 3. What a matchup. A Manchester derby, UEFA Champions League final. And Gregg Popovich will still be sore from his FA Cup exit, but he has had the better of Manchester City on this occasion as far as the league is concerned. What's going to happen in this final tonight? So here we go. A season in which Gregg Popovich was probably expected to just consolidate and maybe compete. He overturned all expectations, but recently his teams had a dip in form, and there's all going to be all this talk about Gregg Popovich's final day curse after losing the FA Cup final last week. But there's no way that Gregg is going to go down without fighting here. but it is Manchester City. It was the reason Manchester City lost the league at this very encounter at the beginning of the season. And whereas Pep Guardiola was able to consolidate and draw the second match, it was too little too late to hit the reset button. It's time for Pep Guardiola to possibly get his revenge. But if I know Gregg Popovich, he's going to be more pumped up for this one after his not really surprising loss against Arsenal in the FA Cup final. So, Gregg Popovich's season pretty much rides on this. But again, like the FA Cup, it's probably just mostly an achievement for Manchester United to even be here. They weren't drew the easiest of groups, obviously with Juventus and Valencia in particular involved. And then they obviously had the Bayern Munich in the quarterfinals, which they swept by in the end. But David De Gea, despite his drop in form, continues in goal. And it's a whole shake-up for the squad today in the phase of formation. Borthwick Jackson and Fosu Mensah come in. It's still Maguire, Bayer and Lindelof. Henwood comes in for Herrera. And this time, Marcus Rashford starts alongside Anthony Martial. For Pep Guardiola, Ederson, of course, in goal. Vincent Kompany probably for one of his last games in a Manchester City shirt. Both David Silva and Bernardo Silva make the bench, so Felipe Luis, Stones, Kyle Walker, Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan, Eriksen, Sterling, Leroy Sané and Gabriel Jesus make up the rest of the Manchester City squad. Since Aguero was sold in the winter window, Gabriel Jesus has been scoring for fun recently and would be the reason why Manchester City got back up to second in the Premier League. But of course, as we said, it was too little too late as far as the league was concerned. But a lot of people said that Gregg Popovich may have made a mistake by not starting Marcus Rashford in the FA Cup final, but of course Rashford was still kind of recuperating from his injury. But I think it is fair to say that since Rashford went down, they have missed his input. His input has been missed, and they haven't been as clinical as they were in the middle part of the season with him involved. So it's clear that Marcus Rashford is going to be an integral part of the team's future, but they don't want to over-rely on him. That's the problem. Rashford has done so well. Could it turn into a form of over-reliance on Rashford in the future? Maybe Martial isn't as powerful without Rashford alongside him, although he has been really kind of good with Alex Hunter, but something about Martial just hasn't been the same since Rashford went down. So, is Manchester United a one-man club? Not necessarily. But the leaking of goals is definitely an issue as Leroy Sané takes this corner. David De Gea gets out. John Stones gets the ball of all people. And here's Sterling. Martial to Sanchez to Pogba off the post. It just will not go in for Manchester United for anyone other than Marcus Rashford at the moment. That's Pogba who's hit the woodwork. Martial hit the woodwork in the FA Cup final. The rub of the green is not with United at the moment. Taken by De Gea. He's definitely not had one of his best seasons though, David De Gea. In fact, since Coach Popovich came in, De Gea's just not looked his best for some reason. And here comes Anthony Martial. He's getting away from the defence. And he just cannot do it. Aaron Henwood came up behind him and Ederson. Good save from him. Aaron Henwood, trademark right foot. He ran up and he was going to hit that all day, wasn't he? Ederson, good save. Paul Pogba with the resulting corner. Sané to De Bruyne and Jesus. Oh, just wide. And just as a side note, if you didn't watch the Europa League final, and it's a save by De Gea, you'll know that Chelsea beat Arsenal in a very tight-knit competition by a goal to nil. But Arsenal do walk away with one trophy at least. But it's between all the Premier League clubs that the trophies are going to. And Sané gets it in. And it's just not working. Leroy Sané did score in the first fixture Well, second fixture against United, and now he scored against them again. And Sterling here cuts into the box. Aaron Henwood miscues. De Gea puts it into the path of Sane, and it's just a trademark of his season, really. And Leroy Sane, more misery on Coach Pop, and finally a redemption for Pep Guardiola against Manchester United. Many people were saying that Manchester City lost the league that day when Kevin De Bruyne own goal had United winning by a goal to 0, but now it's Leroy Sane again who scored in the second Premier League fixture against them, and now they're 1-0 up here. 1-0 to City at the end of the first half. It has certainly been City's game, and Leroy Sane, just like in the second league fixture, gave his team the lead. Manchester United, for some reason, just do not seem to be anywhere near the form they displayed in the middle part of it. What a strange conundrum is going on at Manchester United. United 0, City 1. Ball for Jackson. Sanchez. Pogba. Fosu Mensah. Low cross into Martial, and again, nothing doing for Manchester United. Great pass here by Fosu Mensah. It's not that United aren't playing well. Over with the corner. Eric Bailly! Oh, Bailly's equalised! And finally, something goes right for Manchester United. It's Eric Bailly, of all people. Who'd have thought? In a squad where Marcus Rashford and Martial have been scoring for fun, in the last 2 games they've been nowhere, and Eric Bailly comes up with the goods. Great header by Bailly. A lot of headers have been scored like that. It's a thunderous header by Bailly. That's well taken. Good goal. And finally, something goes right for Gregg Popovich in the final. But he's not won it yet. But Eric Bailly has put his team back in it with his first ever, I believe, Champions League goal. Manchester United 1, City 1. It's all square now. Sane gets tackled by Lindelof. Next is Sanchez. Rashford. Wonderful ball. Martial. Anthony Martial. It's in off Edison. 2-1. And Anthony Martial finally gets a breakthrough. What a goal, and a bit of the old Manchester United middle part of a season football. It's finally come off. And Manchester United, what a ball this is from Rashford. Absolutely itch perfect. That is vintage Gregg Popovich football. He's finally been able to pull it off. Martial gives United the lead in a bit of a part of the season where he's been nowhere. Finally, it goes through in off Edison. Hit him in a bit of an unlucky place. But there we go. That's the way it goes. Martial finally gets a goal for his trouble. He's been a bit dry recently. But now, with his third goal of the competition, gives United the lead with 30 minutes to go. Could Gregg Popovich finally break his finals duck? He has yet to do it, but he's going the right way about it now. United 2, City 1, but they're not out of it by a long chalk yet. Sane and Pogba clears away. He makes sure of it. Rashford. Oh, Rashford, he's avoided the sliding challenge. Oh, he's got a bit. It's the keeper. Bernardo comes out, Edison, and Aaron Henwood puts it in because, of course, 3-1 to United. Captain Amazing Aaron Henwood puts the icing on the cake there. And finally, something is going right for United. All of a sudden, they've stepped up a gear. Good save from Edison from Rashford, but Aaron Henwood, right foot, you're not stopping him. Absolutely brilliant. Got ahead of De Bruyne. Edison nowhere. And Aaron Henwood, who we said earlier has had a bit of a dry spell, but this is what he could do. Big game DNA. He's had it for 14 years as a Manchester United player. His third goal in the competition, which probably is his most prolific. I think in the league he had about 4. So he's been breaking pretty even in the Champions League and the league anyway. I don't think he scored any in the FA Cup. But whatever the case, it seems that now Manchester United have finally lit up this stadium. And finally some Gregg Popovich football is actually working as United lead by 3-1, and now there could be more. That's a great pass from Bulford Jackson, and Martial is straight in Edison. What an absolute overhaul the two Manchester clubs have had. Bernardo Silva has put it in. 3-2. It's a goal-scoring final. Bernardo Silva has put Manchester City back in it. 20 minutes to go, and this isn't over yet. And it really could go anywhere, this final. It's great pass and movement here by Pep Guardiola's team. And it's again, Gregg Popovich is beaten by his own style of play. David De Gea does not cover himself in stars. What is going on in David De Gea's head? Because he just doesn't seem to be at it at the moment. Well, United still lead, but this final really could go anywhere. United 3, City 2. This is not over until the final whistle. Sane. Tackled by Fosu Mensah, but it's a foul. I was about to say how brilliant that was of a tackle by Fosu Mensah. It still was a brilliant tackle, even if it was a foul. Aaron Henwood pulls Scholes, distribution pass. Martial brings it down. And De Bruyne. And everyone's chasing after Martial. Brilliant pass by Martial to Fosu Mensah, but unfortunately he doesn't get there. Hunter finds it. Martial with his head, it's in! Oh, and finally it works. And Martial has ended the Champions League final. And for some reason we've lost the celebration screen again. That's bizarre. But we'll take it. Oh, what a move by United and Popovich. And finally, he ends the season as he started it and as he has continued throughout with Gregg Popovich style football. And it has won the Champions League. And if you were to say that Popovich would replace the FA Cup with the Champions League, he would take it. Because the Champions League last season was a lower point after being knocked out by Sevilla, a team that United should never have lost to on paper. But Gregg Popovich does have some redemption this season by being a Champions League winner, and he will take on Chelsea in the UEFA Super Cup, because Chelsea won the Europa League by 1-0 against Arsenal. So Aaron Henwood, as has been the case only once before, back in Moscow of 2008, will lift the Champions League trophy. He may have not won many of them, but he settled this one. And Martial put the icing on the cake, of course, but Aaron Henwood put it beyond doubt today. He always comes up good against Manchester City, doesn't he? He's done it for 14 years. He's a nemesis. But United fans absolutely love him. Well, if you were to say that Gregg Popovich would lose a treble opportunity by one game, no one would have believed you. But let me tell you something. He'll take this. He'll just have to wait that little bit longer for an FA Cup. I feel next season he'll be back and he'll probably put that above all else, because he's took the league, he's took the Champions League, and I think he'll put his focus into the FA Cup next season just to get that monkey off his back. But there is no such thing as a finals curse for Gregg Popovich. He just got unlucky, especially in the FA Cup final where Arsenal played really well, and Chelsea, where Phil Jones' error really settled the game. But even still, there is no such thing as a final day curse, because let me tell you something. Popovich has just taken the biggest thing of all in his second season, and that's the Champions League. Manchester United 4, Manchester City 1. I think. No, it's Manchester City 2. I missed the 2 out, but there you go. Manchester United 4, City 2.